Exercising influence is the essence of leadership. Leading means influencing, since leaders must shape the attitudes and behaviors of others to help groups reach their goals. These are the title sentences for Chapter 6 of our Communication 430 textbook and forms the basis of the leadership interview that I took on for this assignment. Good afternoon. My name is Matthew Erickson, and it is a pleasure to virtually see you today. In 2015, after a long career in leadership with the Starbucks Coffee Company, I decided to pursue a passion of mine for a local nonprofit in my hometown of Oak Harbor, Washington. Knowing that my income would not be enough to support my family completely, I had the opportunity to join a local Starbucks store, which allowed me to work for someone that I respect on a very deep level, Erin Hedrick. Erin is a store manager for Starbucks who embodies what our organization refers to as a true shopkeeper. This means that although she does manage one of the 20,000 locations that Starbucks owns throughout the world, her impact in Oak Harbor is felt on a local level. Although the sign does not say Erin's Bucks at the top of the building, she has developed a customer base that perceives her not just as a manager for the international corporation, but rather a local business leader that cares for the community that she calls home. I decided that I wanted to conduct my interview with Erin in order to understand on a basic level what makes her tick. While that seems like a simple statement, the reality is that for every great leader, there are a number of factors that brought them to that point. I would like to understand how she incorporated mentors, development plans, self-discipline, and the like to hone her skill set in an effort to understand how I can do the same. Part of what I would like to understand is how she sees herself in light of how others see her and how much energy she puts into improving her own leadership skill sets. Throughout the process, I expected to learn much from my friend and colleague. Now, our book talks about how establishing connections with those who can help you achieve your goals will greatly achieve and increase your chances of emerging as a leader in an organizational context. As we got into our conversation, Erin spoke to how mentorship and specifically being mentored has meant a lot to her development as a person and as a manager. She detailed out how she was coached early on in her 7-year store manager career to develop relationships with those who were quote unquote older and wiser than she. She did this for reasons that were twofold. First, it allowed her to connect with managers with more experience. Erin was able to glean information from these mentors who had come before her and demonstrated competency in the skill sets she had yet to develop. Second, she was able to confide in people that were not a part of her direct store team. There are things that are just not appropriate to discuss with your team, but would be appropriate to talk with someone who is outside of the four walls of your business. These mentors allowed her to, in her words, be herself when needed. After discussing mentors, our conversation shifted to the role of development plans and how Erin incorporated those into her own development. The role of store manager in most contexts is one in which the person in charge is at many times a lone wolf. And what I mean by this is that if you do not have a direct supervisor who is watching everything that you're doing, and as a result, Erin utilizes individual development plans or IDPs to track her progress and demonstrate to her leader, our district manager, what she does on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Our book speaks to this topic in Chapter 8 by discussing what it means to develop leadership capacity. Starbucks encourages their employees, or partners as they're referred to in-house, to develop hard skills such as ringing transactions and making drinks through time and practice. The soft skills are a different thing altogether, and those are what are generally captured on an IDP. Intangible skill sets, such as building relationships or customer focus or organizational savvy, are captured on IDPs to continue the conversation in regard to how partners are impacting behaviors. Erin then takes the time to connect with those of us who work in her store in order to better develop our skill sets. At Starbucks, you cannot get promoted until you can demonstrate an ability to develop others. This motivational tactic has proven itself effective at our store, where our team is number one in customer care, sales, and promotional execution. As we worked through the course of our interview, it was clear that communication played a large role in Erin's success as a store manager. She spoke to how the partners that work at our store desire to understand what is going on and why. Although they will not be privy to all the information at the store, Erin spoke to the importance of transparency in communication and specifically over-communicating. She talked about how she needs to continue casting vision for the things that she sees as important, or the team will never see those things as close to the level of importance as she sees them. This is why we see the same topics, promotions, customer care, etc., posted in a number of different forms in our back room. It's to ensure that there's no excuse for missing key information. Erin did briefly speak to the role of discipline, but downplayed its role in her development of leadership. She talked about holding partners capable rather than accountable as a way to put a positive spin on discipline at the store. This made sense as our partners are less worried about getting into trouble over trivial things and much more focused on doing well on behalf of the organization, representing the brand well. Over the course of 30 minutes, Erin and I had a chance to talk through a number of different topics, and although they could not all fit into this short video, I appreciate the opportunity to learn more and more about my friend and colleague. Specifically for this recap, we spoke about mentorship, communication, development plans, and how those topics made an impact on Erin and more specifically the store that she leads. As a result, my own professional effectiveness will only grow through that time with her, and if you hung with me the entire video, I believe yours will as well. Thank you, and have a great day.